Hi everybody, Mercury Poisoning here, and welcome back to my channel. It is time for Pick Your Poison. Nailed it. Ding. Yes. Today I have a very special guest here. He is my brother and the brother to all. His name is Brother Daniel.
Hello.
Hi.
How's it going?
Hello. Mwah. Mwah. We're gonna be bougie, yes we are. How are you doing?
I'm not doing bad.
Yeah.
I've been staying home a lot lately. Somebody just told me that was the thing to do, so.
Yeah, unfortunately
Yeah.
it is. I've heard that too.
Yeah.
You're very sparkly today.
Yes, I decided that glitter was the way to go. If we're gonna get drunk, we might as well be shiny.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of getting drunk, we're doing a Long Island today.
You really had to pick me for the Long Island, didn't you?
I did, because out of everybody, I knew you could take it.
Aw, thank you. Thank you.
Nailed it. Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. From the recipe I found, this is the accurate, real, live Long Island iced tea.
Whenever we also know that any average motherfucker can just like put a bunch of liquor in a cup and call it a Long Island.
True, but I'm not average.
No.
I'm a woman. All right, so, well, I guess I don't think I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll tell you what's in it. So, all the things you're going to need for this, all right, Brother Daniel? So, you're going to need some vodka. You're going to need some rum. You need some gin. You need some tequila. You need some sweet and sour. And you need some triple sec.
Damn.
Oh, and you need some cola, which we'll get to that later.
It's a lot of alcohol.
It is, except for the cola. Just soda. But, yeah, are you ready to get started?
Sure.
Okay, so first you're going to take your vodka. You need half an ounce of that. We're going to measure that out here in my lovely little measuring tool. Half an ounce, gorgeous. We'll leave that undone because we'll be making two, one for me and one for you. All right, you need half an ounce of rum.
Did it specify what kind of rum you needed?
It sure didn't, so I just grabbed this kind.
Nice.
I grabbed some Bacardi Gold, sponsor me. But I don't know. That's all I grabbed. You need half an ounce of gin.
All right.
You know Jen, right? She's
Oh,
a nice
yes.
girl.
I like to mix her with some olives and some nice vermouth.
Yes. Yummy. You need half an ounce of tequila. Which that was a little under, but it's fine. And then you need... Oh, well, you need half an ounce of triple sec. I put them in the wrong order. It doesn't really matter which way you do it because they're all going to get shooken together. Shooken together. So you need half an ounce of triple sec. And then you need a whole ounce sweet and sour. Whole ounce. Yummy. I put that in the wrong place. Okay. And then we're going to shake it.
All
Are
right.
you ready to shake it?
I guess.
Right. Nailed it. Okay. And then we're going to pull out this gorgeous glass. This is a Collins glass.
Oh.
I bought them just for you.
Oh, that's so nice of you.
And then we're going to pour that in there. And then you're like, but wait, why does it look like lemonade? And you're like, because it doesn't have any cola.
Actual cola, not just Coke.
Because they don't sponsor me either. But they could. And then you're going to put a whole ounce.
Just an ounce. Damn.
Oh no. And then you're going to spill it all over the place.
Is that in the instructions?
It is. It actually explicitly says
Spill the Coke
spill
all over the place.
all over the place. And then we're just going to wiggle it around a little bit. And then that's a Long Island. So I'm going to make mine. And then we're going to taste them. And we're going to see what happens, okay? All right, so we've got the finished product right here. We have both of them. And then actually you're supposed to garnish with a lemon, but I kind of forgot to buy lemons because I'm really bad at just wanting to go to the grocery store and just buying fruit. I feel kind of guilty since we're supposed to be, you know, quarantining and like all that stuff, that I feel really guilty going into the store and then be like, I'm just here for lemons, and then stop.
Well, that's totally
So
fine.
I'm sorry, but I don't have any lemons for
I don't need
us.
any garnish.
Okay, well, let's try this. Cheers.
That is an alcohol. You okay?
Oh, I'm great. Let's sit down.
You need to see her face the next time she takes a drink.
It's very strong. I feel like it needs a little more cola or
Lemon.
less alcohol. Ooh,
That
the
is really
second,
fun.
the second drink was a little bit better, okay? So now we're gonna get on to the interview portion of the show. Are you ready?
I hope so. Oh, we're doing it like that.
No. I literally have the recipe written down. I have old recipes on the back and then no questions for you. So yeah, no, I want to start out first, and we talked about this, and I know you're super excited to hear the question, but what's it like being a drag king
Huh.
in a world that a lot of times only thinks about drag queens?
Well, I will say, and I want to preface this by saying, like, my experience is not everyone else's experience. I know that for everything that I experience, there's going to be someone else who sees it completely differently.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've been doing drag for almost 2 years now.
That long?
Yeah.
Oh.
I feel like a whole drag teenager now, I guess.
Oh my gosh. You've moved on past the toddler stage.
Yes, I'm no longer a baby drag king.
Oh.
Yes, and
Adolescence.
I think that it's been really interesting because there are a lot of people in the drag community who, even if they don't actually have a problem with kings, they still kind of look aside from them. Or just AFAB performers in general, people will not trash them, but not completely consider them at the same level as they will a cis male drag queen.
For sure.
So with that, I think that I've had a lot of experience. Both of my drag parents have helped a lot, and I happen to be the love child of a drag king and a drag queen. You know, we're like a cishet, nuclear, stupid gay family, and no, but. So with that, I've had a lot of feedback coming from both sides of it, but I've also had a lot of opportunity to expand my creativity while also experiencing a lot of the, I guess, more traditional drag. I don't know what traditional drag even is anymore.
I mean, how I think of traditional drag is kind of what started like pageants, so a lot of times I think of like pageant drag as to be more traditional drag. The goal is for people to see you as a woman and nothing else.
Right.
And that's what I consider to be traditional drag, is very that.
And I think that, you know, everyone in my family except my drag dad definitely can do that really well. Yes, she's a woman. But whenever you're a drag king and whenever you are plus sized, it can kind of happen where it's a lot harder to create what people see as the male form. There's not really a lot of illusion to be done whenever you have curves already. Like drag queens a lot of times will add their curves while kings are trying really hard to hide them. So during my like first kind of entrance into the drag world,
Yeah.
I had a lot of trouble with kind of finding my own style that was really appreciative of what my body is as it is, while also paying an homage to the people who have come before me. And you know, if you think about it in general, drag and basically everything we're sitting on right now was started by trans women of color, and so you kind of have to find your own way to have a lot of respect for everything that has happened while also being able to put your own spin on things.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know that I'm that creative. I think I'm just shiny a lot of times. But
Well, I think you're creative.
I think I smile a lot.
Yeah. And that's part of your charm. Like, that's part of Brother Daniel's charm is the how happy and just like joyful you are when you perform. So
It definitely is, and that's kind of been my entire life. I've always loved being on stage. So even like my very first performance, I was in quite literally sweatpants and the most busted ass face I could think of. And
weren't we all?
It was really bad. But the person who was mentoring that night told me that they loved my energy.
Yeah.
And I took that and carried it through with me for the next 2 years.
And here you are.
Yeah, and I've
Shinier than ever.
I can say that I've only had a handful of producers like physically tell me we don't book kings.
I am not one of those producers.
You booked me.
Exactly.
I
I love to book kings.
They had some spice.
Well,
Not that
yeah,
we already have a
I'm
pretty
just
spicy
like,
family.
hey boys, like,
Right, it's really actually neat because I get to be dressed as a boy in front of a bunch of women who are actually dudes who like boys, so it's great.
not all of us.
Not all of you.
But me. Specifically me. I can't speak for anyone else, but specifically me. I love the boys that are 18 and older.
So yeah, and it's been a trip. I don't think that I would have necessarily had it any other way, but I know that I would really like to see a world where there are a lot more openings and more opportunities for kings, for AFAB performers, especially for performers of color.
Yeah.
And I think that everyone tries to do their part as much as they can.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. So I want to go back because you mentioned a term that everybody, it was a while ago, but not everybody might know what that means. So you said AFAB.
Yes.
So can you talk about what AFAB means?
So that refers to your assigned gender at birth. So AFAB would be assigned female at birth, AMAB would be assigned male at birth.
Okay.
And those, when we're existing in just real life, those terms really honestly don't matter because we just are our genders.
Yeah.
And the reason that we say AFAB performers and AMAB performers a lot of time whenever we're in binary drag is because there are a lot of trans performers like myself who I'm a non-binary man, but I do drag as a man.
Right.
I still consider myself a drag king, but I don't consider myself a woman doing male drag.
Because you're not.
Right. Thank you. So the reason that we use that denotation, or again, the reason I do, and the reason I see a lot of people using that denotation is because a lot of pageant drag, not all of it, because there are a lot of pageants that kind of don't pay attention to it on the queen side. But there are a lot of spaces where cis gay men dominate being drag queens. So not every person, not every AFAB person does male drag. And there also are a lot of just drag people that don't really pay attention to any gender when they do drag, which I think is I think that it's really awesome. I think that there are so many performers who just kind of say fuck a gender and do whatever they want. And that's honestly one of the coolest things that I've seen in my 2 years of drag. Not that I haven't seen, beautiful things.
Right. This is hitting me real hard right now.
She's had this much and is already
drunk. She's trashy. That's because quarantine is taking my tolerance levels down.
It's taking my tolerance levels.
Oh, okay.
I think that drag culture is really funny, and I've had a lot of conversations about the fact that the majority of my family is all drag queens, and I'm a drag king, so we seamlessly use she for all of you and he for me and my dad, and So whenever people ask me if, you know, my drag family, you know, sees me as my identity, it's like they've literally never at all referred to me in any way that even sounds female.
Yeah.
Except whenever they didn't have a fucking corkscrew and needed a lesbian. Or former lesbian.
Former lesbian. I want to say I was not involved in Courtgate.
Yes.
I was not a part of that.
I'm in a whole ass house full of gays and they don't have a corkscrew.
I don't drink wine, and we were at Roxy's house. I just want to point that out. I have a corkscrew. Back up. It is in here. Hold on. Well, we'll find it later. But there's one. I have
believe
one.
you. I totally believe you.
Okay. Yeah, so I think those a lot are words. I think those are all the questions I have for you, but I always like to kind of like turn the tables a little bit. So, are there any questions you have for me before we close
Yeah, Mercury.
the show? Oh, God. I always offer, and then they're all just like, yeah, I sure do. And I'm like, shit.
This could be easy. If we're on the topic,
Like
what are,
Roxy. Get it
What?
easy.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
no,
okay.
that was bad.
it wasn't bad. I just didn't get it.
It was bad.
So Mercury, what are your favorite things about drag kings?
Oh gosh, my favorite things. So, like I said, I think I find it. Oh my gosh, I don't even know what I'm saying right now. So some of my favorite things about drag kings are, one, the energy level is, for most kings, typically higher. Like there's just a ton of energy because, I mean, you'll see with a lot of kings, there's not like. Obviously, with queens, there's the big hair, there's the flashy, there's just rhinestones and everything. Not that you can't rhinestone as a king, but exactly. But it's not as I don't feel like as many kings rhinestone to the level that queens do. Meaning, like they try to be a little bit more subtle about it.
It's not as ornate.
Yes.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. I mean, there are plenty of drag kings that are bespangled with rhinestones, and I absolutely adore it, but I feel like, you know, that's not necessarily the point of what they're trying to do. But I can't speak for kings, so I don't know. But, so I would say the higher energy level, for some of the kings I've seen, it's very much like, it's sexual pleasure. I mean, that sounds really aggressive, but there's just some kings that they move their bodies in such compelling ways, and it makes me feel some type of way. Looking at you, Lane Control. Hey, boo, you want to be on the show?
God, you're right.
No, but I mean, there are some kings, but and it fascinates me that there is such a parallel between queens and kings in the sense that, like, you know, there's pageant queens, there's comedy queens, there's just like whatever I am. And then in kings, it's the same. Like, you find that there's a lot of comedy kings. There are some more serious kings, and then there's the ones that are just like, oh, I'm all about the sex appeal or whatever it may be. And then there's some people that are like catch-alls. Like, sometimes I think I'm a catch-all as far as queens go.
Right.
And then, like, I would say that you're very versatile as a king and kind of a
Adorable.
catch-all too, where you're like, it's high energy, but you can still do sexy and you can still do like serious and everything too. And I think you do that well. So I would say that's a lot of what I like about kings. Yeah.
I mean,
really long-winded.
we've got it. No, that was a good answer.
Cancel her. We'll cut that out.
We've got a really talented performer community in St. Louis,
We
all
do.
across the board. I think I would be remiss if I didn't make you chug your drink to end this.
I think you would be remiss. And okay, but you have to chug yours too.
I was going to.
Oh,
The ice
okay.
will make it hard, but cheers. It's actually better when you chug it.
No, it's not. Oh! There's still a little bit in there, and I'm not doing. Do you have any other questions for me?
No.
We chugged our drink, so we can't.
Yeah,
really,
we chugged
can't
our
talk
drinks.
anymore.
You can't
That's
talk
cut. And I'm just kidding. All right, Brother Daniel, thank you so much for being on my show. I really appreciate you being here and taking that drive across the bridge to get into St. Charles.
Oh, of course.
I really do appreciate it.
love St. Charles.
I love St. Charles. I really
No, St. Charles has done me pretty well.
do. Yeah, it has. Yeah, it has. You're welcome. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Please, please like, share, subscribe. Am I missing any? Tweet it.
Tell your friends.
That's part of sharing. Tell your friends about it. Tell your moms. Tell your dads.
And tell Mercury what drinks to make next.
Yes, give me suggestions. I will start adding at some point, adding my email so you can email me drink suggestions. Because I need some good ones, but I have a few still in store, but would always love to get more. So yeah, thank you again. Love you all. Have a great day. Mwah.
Cheers.